about the leather trench coats, but we are live. And everybody, just before we get started with everything, we do have some sad news to open the episode. Yesterday at about 0800 hours, Justin the Juice's plane left Tokyo bound for Manila. It was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It spun in. There were no survivors. We'll see him next week.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.
So, celebrating the opening line of our theme song, did you guys know that Benny is from Springfield, Ohio?
I did not.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I remembered today that he had mentioned it, and I was like, oh, that's topical, but we're not going to be topical tonight. We're probably going to mention movies from 30 plus years ago. We're going to goof off.
That's how we roll. We're going to have the VMAs on in the background, so I might be being sort of topical by mentioning them occasionally. I have simultaneously never felt so old and so hip at the same time, because part of me is like, wow, I'm still with it, y'all. I'm hip with the kids. I know this stuff. And then another part of me is like, I'm decrepit and I know nothing. It's 50-50.
I knew who Eminem was. I knew who Fat Joe was.
Fat Joe was at the VMAs, in case anyone was wondering.
Wow. I knew Katy Perry. That's pretty much. I know Chapel Roan now because she told me about her.
I thought her name was Chappelle Roan for 6 months.
He continues to call her, even though he has heard the VMA commercial 80,000 times while watching MTV2 the other day for a challenge marathon.
Yes, you want a villains list.
But he still kept calling her
Chappelle.
Chappelle Roan. And I was like, it's Chapel. You've heard it 80,000 times on the commercial. It says Chapel Roan every time.
I feel like we need to redeem the name Chappelle in a way. I feel like that's part of it psychologically.
You're trying to give it to her. That's fair. I like your heads out there.
So I was gonna say, when I'm at home, when she goes to work, and if I'm still at home, I usually will put something on in the background to just knock myself out. And while it's
can confirm,
yeah. So they, I put MTV2 has just been showing the challenge nonstop. It's the perfect thing to fall asleep to. So I put it on.
Disagree.
Every single commercial break they go to, they played at least one VMA. But did you not, like, sometimes there was multiple in a commercial break. There was not a single commercial break that did not have a commercial. So the VMA commercial is challenging you to go on to the villains bracket.
As the only two people who still regularly watch MTV, i.e. the two of us, because we watched the challenge. Yeah, they really were. I was like, do they always advertise the VMAs this much? Or is this, am I just unaware
of it? In the heyday of the VMAs, they didn't advertise it this much.
Here's the thing: if you can call Chapel Roan like a modern pop star, I could think of none other that you would actually enjoy every track, man. Every track of hers is
I'm really trying to make him a Chapel Roan fan, and he keeps saying it's not for him. And I just think that's un-American.
It's not something that I like actively dislike, but it's not something I would find myself gravitating towards.
But,
I'm a metalhead.
You haven't really given her a full shot.
I know the two songs are right for me.
I think you would like her more as like a performer, because she's very like theatric and she's very like, you know.
She's Gen Z Amanda Palmer.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I see that. Little Cyndi Lauper, little Amanda Palmer.
Her VMA performance was fun. Like, I didn't think it was anything that's going to be like, you know, people are going to be talking about it for years to come. It was she did something unique. I'll give her that. But
I'm kind of surprised she went with Good Luck Babe here. Not like she needs any more fans because she has a million. She's like obviously a rising star, which we love. We stand. She's amazing. But I was kind of like, Good Luck Babe is a great song, but it might not be a great first introduction to Chappell Roan, especially live. Like I would have maybe done a different song personally.
Yeah.
But like,
play on all the commercials.
I don't think that she's too worried about gaining any new fans because her show's already selling out like wildfire. So she's like,
she actually actively hates most of her stardom, which is great.
She actually actively hates being famous. So she probably was like, which song can I play where people won't want to look me up or harass me in the street?
She for whatever reason, she took on Ticketmaster, and for that reason alone, is a potential heroes list.
I think a heroes list for saying what women have always wanted to say, which is like, don't effing touch me. You don't know me. I am a stranger to you for all intents and purposes. And just because I chose musician as my career does not mean you get to like be weird to me, which like, rock on, sister. Health to the
I could see her saying the fans I don't know you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So more current things. We did see Beetlejuice over the weekend. Kind of like I had kind of mixed feelings about it. I didn't think it was a great story, but you could tell that the actors were all having so much fun with it that it kind of elevated it to being enjoyable. Like if the first movie did not exist, I don't know if people would really gravitate to this one as much. But
can I say a weird like? And that's kind of a big spoiler for the movie. Can I say a big spoiler for the movie, AJ, or will you be annoyed?
I'm not spoiler concerned with Beetlejuice.
Okay. I assumed you weren't, but then I was like, maybe. To William, who basically probably is the only person currently watching us live.
There are two.
There are two. To anyone who is currently watching us live, this is a warning. Spoiler warning. Spoilers for Beetlejuice. Okay? Okay, here it is. So I think it's strange. So I found out that the person who co-wrote Beetlejuice is also one of the writers for the show Wednesday, which I actually really enjoyed the show Wednesday. And that makes sense. Obviously, Tim Burton, those are current things he's working on. Okay. I will wave when the spoiler is over. So spoiler starting now. I will wave when it's over. So I'm going to try not to talk in my hands because I don't want you to accidentally think that the waving. So anyways, essentially, the Winona Ryder, blah, blah, whatever. I think Jenna Ortega is great. I really do. I really like her. I love that Tim Burton obviously always like finds his little weirdo, and he's like, "This will be my little Gen Z weirdo. I have my little Gen X weirdo and my Boomer weirdo, and like this is the new one, And it's great, and she's fantastic. But I was like, it is strange now that apparently this one writer just really wants to keep having Jenna Ortega fall in love with a curly-haired guy where the entire time you're like, I know something is off here. I'm supposed to like you, but I don't like you, and I know why. And he always ends up like being a bad person. And I was like, what if you would do that twice? I was like, you just did Wednesday. You did the script of Wednesday again. Like, that's lazy writing. So I felt like there are some interesting things going on with Winona Ryder's character and her character, the whole mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
But her storyline, they made her storyline from Wednesday that I was like, that's just lazy. Like, we just saw this.
Is it the same mother-daughter relationship from Wednesday, though?
Not really.
Not entirely. Because so obviously, like, Winona Ryder's character is, like, we all know Lydia, obviously, from the first movie, and she, I too am strange, unusual, and all that jazz, and stuff. And so she still kind of has that kind of, like, they have an estranged relationship, essentially. So, like, it almost seems like Jenna Ortega would like her mom to be more normal, because the whole thing of the movie is that, like, Lydia really kind of seared into the whole, like, being able to talk to dead people thing. And she has kind of an estranged relationship with her mom because of that. And because of, I'm going in really heavy spoiler territory. Sorry.
The first 2 minutes.
And because her father passed away and Lydia can't contact her father. So she's like, so interestingly, you can talk to every other ghost, but you can't talk to my dad.
I wonder why that guy's unavailable.
And So not Lydia's dad, Jenna Ortega's dad, which I think her name is Astrid or something in the movie.
Yes, that's
So Lydia had a baby with someone, obviously that person has passed away. But they do handle Lydia's dad in the movie as well.
So I did listen to Extra Movie Butter, and JT brought up a great point about this. Benny started it, but JT brought up great points. Like, he's
Are we done with heavy spoilers? Should we wave?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
So obviously the actor himself is not in the movie. However, they do a claymation scene where they show the character's face. And then the character is still alive in the afterlife with what caused him to perish, affecting his form. But they also have pictures in the house of him. I'm like, you should have just not done that. Like, you should have just not visualized. And if you were going to do the claymation, do everything from the back. Like, don't give him a face.
I think they handled it, that aspect of it, very well. But yes, it's like, yeah, it's very mother-daughter relationship, not the exact same as Wednesday, but definitely like, there's a mother-daughter relationship kind of strained thing, but for like different reasons. And then, yeah, falls in love with a curly head guy who like definitely is trying to do her wrong, and isn't good. Okay.
And a Joey Lawrence haircut that I think was atrocious.
But
the performances in the movie.
Yes. Catherine O'Hara is just such a delight.
He's an absolute
always
treasure. Willem Dafoe is doing whatever he is doing. He's in a different movie than everybody else, but because it's Beetlejuice, it actually works. Like, he is not on the same. He's reading a different script.
Like, everyone
One
is
of the
like,
best things you could ever tell
it.
me. And something we hear a lot is Willem Dafoe is in a different movie from everybody else. Every time I hear it, it doesn't get
It's
old.
good. It's quality. 100%.
By the way, I kind of want to go back through and watch Poor Things again.
You want to watch
Poor Things?
Yeah, Poor Things.
Oh.
Like, that was an all-time
Really
Willem
never miss
Dafoe.
it. Truly never miss it.
Catherine O'Hara, she's not really necessarily chewing scenery. She is just enjoying every moment she's there, and her character is just almost like a Lucille Bluth, maybe not quite as malicious. Like, she's such an out there character, and her intentions are different than almost everybody else's. But at the same time, you're just watching her and having so much fun with it.
But yeah, it's just like fun. It's not like you said, the plot
Lots
isn't
of little.
the strongest. It's certainly not as good as the first one, but like, you leave like happy. You're like, oh, I'm happy to have like got to hang out with all of them again.
You're not going to regret having seen Beetlejuice. It's a fun movie. I don't know if it's going to get like people watching it yearly the way people watch the original.
You know what you are going to regret, though? The tie-in soda.
Oh, yeah, I heard it's terrible.
Is it bad?
Oh, my God. I drank this much of this. It was so bad.
They have that flavor icy at the movie theater because we didn't try it or anything.
Yeah, we were saying Fanta out here just.
So they also are
the tie-ins with the.
Fanta's also gone at Halloween Horror Nights. They have a whole section of the park where they created their own bar. That's the Fanta bar. So like Fanta's like making a marketing comeback.
I just want the Stay Puft s'more so bad, and I want to get one that actually looks good, because sometimes they look good and sometimes they don't. And I'm gonna be like, I'm doing it for the gram.
You've seen the s'more, right, AJ?
Give me the cute one.
I've seen the s'more, and I've heard good reviews too.
Yes, I'm excited.
My sister and my niece had it, and they just said the one that they got, they felt like the marshmallow could have been toasted more, which is a fair complaint. But
I'll bring a torch into the.
Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely allowed, right? For sure. For sure. Y'all, I just really love, truly, it's such great. Catherine O'Hara obviously deserves all her flowers, but also I just love Winona Ryder so much sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm just always happy to see her. And I just love, so I was watching this video, Vogue does those videos that's describe your career in outfits. And so they'll show you different, red carpet looks, looks for movies, whatever. And they just have to talk about them. And I could just like listen to her talk all day. Like she just seems like such a kind-hearted, like chill person. And I love like where her career started and the fact that she like became an it girl from it. It's honestly wild. And like only something I feel like could have happened during Gen X. And then obviously I know there was like the drama and whatever, but I love that like she had such a like renaissance and she's back in the game and it's just phenomenal. And she was talking about, again, like this is just like the way her brain works and like why she's so amazing. I mean, for many reasons, but she was talking about like with costuming and stuff, like how important it is to her. Like if someone is in a certain like social economic, like, you know, background that like they dress like that. She's like, I hate it when I watch something and someone's wearing something and you're like, you're a single mother working 3 jobs and you're wearing this suit. Like, no, like you know,
that is a Michael Kors belt buckle.
Yeah. And she was talking about like with Joyce Byers, like how important it was to her for costuming that it'd be something that like you believe she would be able to afford with the Joyce Byers like thing. And I was like, yes, thank you. Looking at you, Blake Lively, wearing your weird shit when your person owns a flower shop. No, yeah. Where's that money coming from? It's not.
Well, and I don't know. She's always been an underrated talent to me. Like one of the most underrated performances for, how do I say this? The female lead in like an Adam Sandler 90s style comedy film, Mr. Deeds. Yeah. She is phenomenal in Mr. Deeds. The dry delivery for so many different things. The Winchesterton Fieldville and like I don't know my natural hair color.
Yeah. Mr. Deeds was a weird one for Sandler because
we're just going through a bunch of awards.
They're just listing all the winners.
Yeah, this is weird.
Going back to what you're saying with Mr. Deeds.
Sorry. Shocked by the VMAs.
Mr. Deeds was like, I think that was the first one of the Sandler movies where I felt like I was getting a little bit tired of him.
Mm-hmm. But everybody else in that movie, especially when Winona Ryder makes the movie.
We watched an Adam Sandler movie last night, ironically.
We watched 50 First Dates last night. I watched that in a long time. That one I don't really consider as quite as much, because that's a co-lead. That's him and Drew Barrymore. It's not really just a Sandler movie.
Yeah.
It's such a dumb premise, but I do like
it works for some reason. Carson Daly has been brought out, ladies and gentlemen.
Carson Daly?
They will battle. What year is it?
Welcome to TRL.
Yeah. Oh my God, y'all. I miss TRL.
When did TRL?
Tara Reid, you have an opportunity to do the funniest thing in the world.
Here we are, yeah.
When was it exactly? It lasted longer than it like should have. It probably went off in like what, 09, 08.
TRL went out into the 2010s.
Did it go to the 2010s?
I want to say it was like 2015.
But really? Yeah, you might be right. Honestly, it did go on like way longer than we all think it did.
TRL final episode was good.
Now
I just heard kids going crazy in Times Square. Is he announcing that it's coming back? Because sign me the hell up.
It was November 13th, 2008. You are right.
Wow.
Okay. I was like pretty spot on with my guess. I was like, I don't know, 2008, 2009-ish. But even still, that's like way longer than you think it would have gone on.
He came on to talk about TRL to give an award for K-pop.
Yeah, I'm confused.
But like, if you did a K-pop TRL, that would totally work.
Yeah, I think it'd be a big deal, right? Those K-pop people,
Daly,
they would be there calling people. Do you want to know how I had to tell a Gen Z friend of mine about the time that Kanye West went on live TV and said that President Bush didn't care about Black people? I was like, let me tell you about this iconic thing. First, I had to explain what a telethon was. So that was interesting.
Back when Kanye cared about Black people. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I know this is crazy to hear because now he's like a Nazi sympathizer. But back in the day.
Said the 3 palest people on the internet.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Everyone.
Sorry to you.
We are very pale people.
I had to observe.
Yeah, just so we can be clear. Where this is coming from. Oh, Lisa earlier, just one. But yeah, it was just such a wild thing. I was like, oh, let me tell you about this thing.
Hot take: Lisa does not know how to properly lip sync.
No, and as a K-pop artist, I expect more because they should be like disciplined and good at that. You know, like that's Your choreography has to be on point. Your lip syncing has to be better. She's cute. Like I like her hair. She seems really sweet, but I need her to lip sync better. Okay.
Or actually sing. Preferably actually sing.
One of these
Yeah, this
days,
is
I'm
what-
going to be able to get into the K-pop thing. I'm going to be able to like deep dive and understand what it's all about.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Like I am such an idiot when it comes to K-pop stuff. I know a lot of people that are, hi, boo girl. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get you there.
Like,
So we had a fun night with this one.
oh,
This one decides she's going to go behind our sound bar, which she's never, ever done. Ever done.
Where we have one of those like bug/mice traps, the like sticky pads, you know, that you put down and like insects or vermin get stuck there and then they can't move and then they die. And so my dad, who's in the bug business, was like, put it behind somewhere like electronics because they tend to gravitate toward that for some unbeknown reason. And so it's been there for months now. We have changed it out. Like that one was sitting there for a while. It got kind of full. We changed out. I sound like we have a lot of varmint. We don't. It's just in the summer in the southeast, like
Just
bugs
in case.
come in, you know, occasionally. So it's just there in case. So we, you know, after a while, I was like, oh, that one probably like lost its stick. Let's replace it. So it has a couple of varmint that have come in, you know, in the weathery months in the southeast. It'd be like that sometimes. And all of a sudden, this one starts going over and sniffing at it. And I'm like, oh my God, she's like going to go next to a glue trap, which is like not good because she's going to get caught in it. And also, like, there are a couple of dead vermin on it. And I don't want her like trying to eat, like, oh, heebie jeebies. So I immediately like, Lorna, get away from there. So I tell him to go over there because I don't like touching it because it freaks me out. And she got caught in it. Her paw got caught. So we had to get her off, and of course she's like crying, and I was like, "Yeah, well, whose fault is that?" So yes, so she got stuck. It was the whole thing. But we got her off unharmed.
I didn't even see any hair on it.
Yeah. So
Any fur.
but yeah,
I don't
but
even think she lost fur.
was not pleased having to get that taken off. It was the whole thing. Is this Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz is here. Carson Daly and then Lenny Kravitz. What year is it, y'all?
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz also. We've talked about people who like don't really age. Lenny Kravitz does not age.
hands up. Hands up. Anybody on this screen right now, I will trade you CJ Stroud in our league if you can tell me what fragrance is endorsed by Lenny Kravitz.
What
Smooth.
fragrance? The exact name or just like a
The
like a
exact
brand?
fragrance. Hands up.
I guess smooth.
I want to say it's like a Dolce and Gabbana, but I can't tell you the exact scent of it.
Okay. It's Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. It's very popular with the fragrance influencers. It smells like that orange juice and toothpaste feeling.
That
And
orange.
it's $151 a bottle.
Really? That sounds like a terrible
That's
thing. People
god
like
awful.
that. People like that. I guess
People
you're
like
right.
that until I tell them what the reaction that they're gonna get when they
That's
wear
what
it
it's gonna
out.
smell like, and then they're like, "Oh no, I don't like it anymore."
Yeah. Just random
Oh.
ass thing.
That's smart.
I always think about that when I think of Lenny Kravitz, and I always think about when his pants split out. I don't know why.
I just picture him like dramatically giving Katniss like a pep talk before she goes into the Hunger Games. That's just what I think of now when I think of Lenny
See,
Kravitz.
I wish I had that because that scene is awesome.
It's so good, honestly. Honestly, he was very good. Like that was perfect
He was
casting.
phenomenal in the Hunger Games.
Like truly, I remember that casting first came out. And I was like, "That's an interesting choice," but like maybe. And then he was in it, and I was like, "Fuck you, Lenny Kravitz."
Especially after reading the book, like if you read the books, Lenny Kravitz was not who I pictured.
No.
as that character.
And yet now it's all I can picture, you know. So like, good on him.
Imagine like not knowing who that was beforehand and saying, I wonder who this actor is. I'm gonna get their name so I know what they do next. And then it's fucking Lenny Kravitz.
Going down a whole rabbit hole and being like, holy crap, who knew?
Yeah.
Like I'd seen that he was in the movie, and I actually, admittedly, I saw the first movie not having read any of the books. Then I read all of the books before the second movie came out. And after, I'm like, wait, they from this book they thought Lenny Kravitz? Like, it was very confusing. They're like, yeah, he was great in the role, fantastic in the role.
I need to read those books.
So
Honestly, such quality, in my humble opinion.
Remember, I'm a communist.
the first book is probably the most different of the three, and it's nothing like substantial. It's little details. They added an extra character to the movie that's only mentioned in the book. Second book's pretty spot on. Like, that's actually pretty close. And the third one, because they drug it out so much, I think there's actually more in the movie than the book.
Yes. And I also am a Mockingjay defender. I know not as many people liked that book / that movie. I think the movie shouldn't have been split up into two. But I think the book is actually very good, in my humble opinion.
Both book and movie, Catching Fire is my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Catching Fire is my favorite in both book and movie. But I think Mockingjay got a lot of hate that it did not deserve. And I also love The Hunger Games for being, at least in the books, to a certain extent in the movies. Obviously in the movies, it was like pretty people in love and also this other thing happening. I mean, obviously like The Hunger Games and the PTSD or whatever. But I think in the books, it's one of the only, like, because I, being a teenage girl, once read a lot of that kind of like YA dystopian stuff. I loved how well The Hunger Games was the only series that really went into like truly the trauma of all of this and like how you would have PTSD and like all of that. And I wish the movies would have delved into a little bit more. They did a certain justice, but not as much as I would have liked.
Mockingjay Part 1, I think, did a little bit of that. But
yeah,
and I think that was like so because usually these it's like and the kid saves the world, and then the next year they're just expected to go back to school or do whatever, and you're like, do you know how dramatic that would be? Actually,
right?
Well,
You ever fight a basilisk?
you're
My
like,
God.
that's dramatic.
again, having seen the first movie and then read all three, I read The Hunger Games. I'm like, okay, at this point, having seen the movie, I'm doing the comparing and contrasting at this point because I'm like, okay, well, what's different? And a good chunk of it, a large portion is the same, but they did change. In the Hunger Games itself, they changed a decent amount. The second one, though, when I got to the book and I got to that ending, I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know how it ends. I had to go and turn back 3 pages and read it. I'm like, did I just read that right? Like, is that how this ends? And, because that's one of the biggest cliffhangers. I'm like, oh, my Lord. And I remember obviously knowing that was going to end like that in the theater. And definitely not everybody in the theater that I saw it with knew that. That's one of those movies that had that big gasp the second the end credits started.
Yeah. Man, we have not kept a topic tonight. I love this.
I know. We're just bouncing all over the place.
Completely all over the
Updates
place.
on the VMAs. Camila Cabello is currently doing some weird, I don't know, she's in like a glam bot room thing.
And she's on like a turntable.
Yeah.
Here. Hold the stream for a second. Just need the restroom.
All right.
Holding the shoe. Oh, and there's people outside trying to attack her with like bats.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, this is interesting. I'm sure it's a great commentary on something, but I don't know what song she's singing because the volume is very low.
And this also can't be very good for that live crowd. I can't
Yeah.
imagine this
This
being
is, again, definitely only, this is a performance that's better for the TV audience than it is.
They do have a
for-
giant video wall of her behind it, but still.
Yeah, if you're watching this live, it can't be good.
I was saying earlier, they brought up a couple things, but like the old days, obviously the awards were kind of like 50-50 with the performances. Like, people turned it on to watch performances, but you also had a vested interest in the awards. Obviously, because music videos were a much bigger thing in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. But, she's destroying a laptop. So they brought up the one, and they said that Roar is the most iconic performance of all time. And I'm like, no, it's
I don't think it
not.
was called of all time. It just said
Most
iconic VMA performance or something. So I don't know what it was up against per se. If it was, maybe they've been doing it by decade recently, and it's like of that decade. I don't know.
Because there's
Maybe not.
several of them that like literally the very first show, in my opinion, has still never been topped.
Internet killed the video star. Internet killed the
I did read something kind of
video
interesting
star.
today that in the past, 6 months or something, the demand for physical music has returned to an extent. There was a little bit of a resurgence of
Yes,
cassettes,
as it should.
and apparently CD is starting to revive slightly as well. And I like that. Obviously having things like Spotify and Apple Music is great for having anything at your fingertips at any time. But having a physical piece of media, just like the video games and the movies, being able to have access to it when you want it, not to worry about something being pulled or something like that, I think it's a big deal. And there's, certain bands that still to this day won't put their music on streaming.
Looking at you, Garth Brooks. Yes, I think there's some great things about it being. Oh, another Gen Z conversation I had to have with someone. I asked her. Well, it actually was the Green Bay Packers did a thing. At practices they do the questions.
Yeah.
So obviously they have some Gen Z. Many of their team is Gen Z because obviously football players are getting and the rookies are quite younger.
They're born in the 2000s at this point.
Yeah, and so they were asking them certain questions. Obviously, as millennials or older, you would know, but Gen Z, you might not know. And one of the things was how many songs you think an average CD could hold. So then I passed this along to my Gen Z coworker, and she was like 50, and I was like, no, sweetheart, not even close. No, it cannot hold 50 songs. So yeah.
Okay,
so that's
but
great.
rewritable or an album? That's another thing.
Yeah, that is true because obviously, I think they were just asking standard album, CD. If you got a CD from an artist, what would how many
It
songs?
was 78 minutes and 59 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, is what could fit on it for an album.
So on average, it was 13 to 15 songs,
Yeah.
which again is why albums. I was think of an average album. How many songs does it have on it? There's a reason for that.
You can get 20 songs that are the length of Linkin Park Hybrid Theory songs, but
Right.
you go to Meteora, then we're down to 12.
If you go to Stormtroopers of Death, you can get 35 songs and not even use half the length. NASCAR Allo could probably get 150 songs on there.
Oh, so true. His songs are short. He could definitely get some.
Remember the first time that you had an MP3 player that could hold a gigabyte?
Yeah, absolute wild. It's crazy times. So good.
You used to have to downloading an album, depending on when you were doing it. When I think the first time I ever downloaded an album probably took several hours. Now it's
These kids.
You wouldn't
these days,
download a house.
Wire. You wouldn't download a house.
I think the worst internet that I ever had was 28K internet. So download speeds were roughly 3 kilobytes per second. And that was about half an hour to download a song.
So we had, before America Online exploded, we had Prodigy first. And I don't remember the speed of it, but just to download a picture would take 10 minutes.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's what I always think is inaccurate about movies that are set in the late 90s or the early aughts when they're going online. They're we're going to make the joke that it's slow and we're going to make the joke of the sounds. But no, the slow that it is always way too fast, Jill. I'm no. That was taking way longer, okay?
They did not show a satellite dish on the house in American Pie, but they needed one for that internet speed.
Right.
Yeah, just saying.
When I first got to college, it was the first time I ever had cable internet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was great. Every song was the
no one
Radiohead or
knew.
Linkin Park. Like
Yeah.
So
legit.
things were because it would have a different credit. I had to fight tooth and nail this freaking dude bro who's trying to mansplain to me that Mrs. Robinson was a Beatles song, and I was like, no, it isn't. But because he had like downloaded it off LimeWire, he was so certain, and I was like, nah, son.
It's on LimeWire. It's like Wikipedia. It has to be
Yeah.
true.
And I'm like, definitely not. It's on my iPod like that. I'm like, what you download from LimeWire, which is notoriously inaccurate. And half the time you download something, you get, I did not have sexual relations with that woman when you're just trying to download a song. Damn.
So when I first got to college, it was the first time I ever had access to actual high speed. And by high speed, it's a fraction of what it is now. But it was the first time I was around something that wasn't dial up. And
Yeah, that DSL.
yeah, one of my roommates decided he wanted to download a movie. It happened to be gone in 60 seconds. It took like 26 hours to download that movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It was knocked
Yeah.
down in 60 seconds.
No, it was not.
Certainly not.
It took us over a day for it to finish downloading. So yeah, that tells you how things were back then. And that was considered like very high speed at that particular point in time.
There's a video game I want you guys to play. I might ask you to sign up for a Steam account and gift you a video game. It's called Hypnospace Outlaw. And basically like the entire concept of this video game is you're clicking through like early 2000s internet. You're going through like MySpace pages and being a detective going through these pages to find like violations on the internet. It's insane because they replicated the internet that we haven't seen for like 20 years
Nice.
into something they're calling a video game. It's
Fascinating,
ridiculous.
I'm into
Like
this.
there's like GIFs and like there's like you have to go through like message boards and stuff. It's so good.
Did either of you have to have a graphing calculator when you were in high school?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you download Drug Wars onto it?
Didn't get Drug Wars on the calculator. I did have it on the desktop though.
Okay. So I had Drug Wars on the calculator, and like one of the first things, the first day we were like, remember, this is not for gaming. If somebody offers you the game Drug Wars, don't download it. I'm pretty certain the entire class had it by the end of the day.
No, the worst thing you can ever do is say not to do something.
We all had Drug Wars. We all had Tetris. And the best
Yep.
part was, like, if you were in the class that you were allowed to use that, they really couldn't tell that. I mean, unless you were being very obvious about it, you could be playing Tetris or Drug Wars back in my case, 99, 2000, and the teacher couldn't tell the difference.
Oh yeah. By that time, the graphing calculators could run Doom. So
Wow. They might have had Wolfenstein, but I think you would have had to like delete like everything to get it when it was my generation of that. Did you ever play Wolfenstein? Was a fun game. Wolfenstein was, obviously Doom is Wolfenstein on steroids, but Wolfenstein was one of those first games on the computer that was like, hey, the computer can actually do something more than, is that the first thing I remember that the computer was viewed as like something that could be like a gaming system.
see, Wolfenstein was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
Like my siblings' time, yeah, they got it, and like they like going to like Wolfenstein 3D when it was about the same par as Dune, all that.
Yeah, Wolfenstein was interesting too because it did something like none of the consoles at the time were able to really handle. Obviously, not long afterwards they were, but Wolfenstein was able to do. It had more capability than say like the NES or even the SNES or the Genesis at that point. It really wasn't until you got to like the PlayStation that something like that was realistic.
Guys, we're never going to actually have to watch the Speak No Evil trailer again in like
Yes.
24 hours. Like the full trailer? No, we are 24 hours away.
God, I feel honestly #blessed. Now, if I can just get rid of Smile too, life will be good.
We had a weird circumstance with our Beetlejuice screening, in that it only showed 4 trailers and they were all WB. So like we're like there was like a special Wednesday screening, and we think they just didn't change the
Yeah, we just got that.
hardware, so we got that. But apparently, there was another Smile 2 trailer.
Listen, I would not be surprised if they did that, honestly. They're like,
That's
here to see Speak No Evil, and we're going to show you the trailer one last
So
That's the
apparently,
part-
at one of the critics screenings, they did. I can't remember who tweeted it out, but apparently it happened.
Well, it's funny because I've been to a handful of critic screenings, and usually they don't show any trailers. You might get the attached trailer to the movie, but they usually don't show any trailers at critic screenings. That's funny if they did that.
So if they did the attached trailer to the movie, that makes sense. Boom.
Right.
We did it. My thing is, I love the original movie.
I've never
Right.
watched it. I've read the synopsis of it, so I'm aware of what happens in it.
Like I thought the original movie, yeah, I didn't talk about it on here because like it's a foreign film, it's an experimental horror movie, it's very graphic, there's a twist, it's
Very
not
fucked
the
up.
kind of thing we would talk about, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching this trailer for the first time in a theater full of friends who love horror movies. I'm like, oh my god, they're doing Speak No Evil, and I'm like, oh guys, we're gonna have to watch this. And then they show this, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Fuck it. And then we keep on seeing that trailer
Yep.
Yeah.
over and over. It's like if they remade The Sixth Sense and that was like some sort of indie darling nobody ever heard of, and they remade it 2 years later, 2 years, and then like they showed Bruce Willis's bloodstain on the back. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Well, that's the thing is like, I feel like they would. If they remade The Sixth Sense, they would have been giving away in the trailer. And you're like, that's the whole thing of the movie. So is that the whole thing of Speak No Evil, the original, is that you find out that they cut out his tongue?
Part of it.
So that's are you gonna watch this movie?
No.
Probably not. And even if I do, I won't.
Spoilers for
Spoilers
anybody.
for anyone.
So spoilers, yeah.
I won't be annoyed if I know how it ends. It's that won't bother me.
So it's that they keep on serial killing these families, and they kill the parents, and then they leave the kid alive, and they cut out the kid's tongue, and then make them go on to the next family.
So like that, though their kids aren't their kids. They're
Right.
like the people that they killed before. So then
And they've
yeah,
done this many times.
And the kid can't.
and they
tell
can't tell
anybody
anybody
because they don't-
anything because
yeah.
they cut out their tongue.
So
Ooh.
it's a really really good
Yeah.
premise for a horror movie,
Yeah.
and they give it away in the fucking trailer.
Did he die after the first scene of the movie? Okay, but like, yeah, again, it's a good twist. Is like you can see like not see it coming, but like kind of see it coming. Like it's foreshadowed well. Like we do see that, you know.
Yeah, the first time I saw the original, I saw it twice in the same week.
Speaking of things I was spoiled on, actually, I did know the Sixth Sense ending before I ever saw the Sixth Sense.
Was it
and I
before
still
or after
Yeah.
Lonely Island?
What?
Was it before or after Lonely Island?
Before Lonely. Like I saw it
Okay.
pretty close to when it came out. I just at that point, if you like didn't see it in its first theatrical run, like you knew, like everyone was talking about it.
I
in the
didn't
situation.
I don't think I saw opening weekend. I think I saw
Travel One,
the
everyone.
week after, and I didn't know the twist at that point. And that's when that twist happened when I saw it, because at this point the word of mouth was buzzing that this movie, you have to see this movie, and that's another one. The audible gasp in the theater when the reveal happened.
I wish I could have seen it. Man, that's one that I wish. Like there are very few things that I think back about. Like it's that and Darth Vader are the main two.
Yeah, Darth Vader would be like the all-time number one to have been in the theater for 100%.
May I just say R.I.P. James Earl Jones.
Yes.
Legend.
I'm watching The Lion King after our stream.
As you should.
I kind of want to watch The Sandlot. Like,
That's-
it's God, he's so good in that.
Yeah, I went through and redid. I rewatched Field of Dreams, but I feel like Coming to America and Lion King are my other two big like R.I.P. homie.
Yeah.
His scene in The Simpsons is pretty fantastic too, where he's narrating the Lord of the Flies.
Oh, let's say Mo.
Mike, I'm pitching you a show live on air.
No.
I've seen quite a bit of the original Simpsons, like the first 10 seasons or so.
Yeah.
But it's been a while for most of it.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to a once-a-month show for a Simpsons recap show?
I mean,
Season by season. First 10 episodes.
She's so excited.
First 10 seasons.
Oh, and just will be him listening. I almost said listening. It'll just be him watching old episodes of The Simpsons he likes, which isn't really anything too crazy.
That's like a birthday present.
That's just him doing.
I literally
it
have
on
said
his own accord.
on many occasions I did not want to go out on my birthday. I said my ideal birthday would be to just have a case of good beer sitting on my couch watching The Simpsons.
And I was like, no.
And she'd never let me do that.
By the way, I'm taking my birthday off of work, like officially like taking it off for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
even doing because it's my birthday. It's because it's a Sunday and it's the last day of PTO that I'm allowed to take for my company.
Oh, nice.
We have PTO blackout from November through the end of the year.
Right.
And it just so happens to be November 3rd this year. It's like, I think I just gotta fucking do it.
When does this thing end? There's like 18 things still coming up, and it's 10:47.
Yeah, they're going late.
Jesus.
My birthday this year, there is a Jets Steelers game. My goodness, that is such a volatile situation, and it's Sunday Night Football. It's the primetime game.
He's just gonna be cursing at the TV this year. You'll get your wish. You'll get your couch and some good beer. I can't guarantee that you like any other.
It's a
person.
Jets game. I'm gonna need something stronger than beer,
Oh yeah.
and it's my least favorite team in the league. So yeah.
See, it's so funny how like that replaced the Dolphins for you.
It never was all right. The Dolphins was more so because of one individual person. Like when it came to fan bases, it's been the Steelers for a long time. Like I actually, from working at Universal NBC Sports Grill and Brew, hands down.
Okay, Tara Reid over there with the full official
That's right.
Cabana Bay's Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort.
Hands down. No other fan base pissed me off NFL wise other than the Steelers. There were a couple of college ones that were pretty bad, and Liverpool takes the cake overall. That is my least favorite sports franchise, period. But NFL, nobody came even close to the Steelers in terms of how obnoxious and rude they were.
Guys, it's November 3rd is Sunday. November 2nd is a Saturday. I'll be watching college football. Fuck me.
I like that you thought this entire time it was a Sunday and it's a Saturday. That's fantastic.
You'll get a good day of college football.
And
Florida,
but
Georgia.
the Thursday night game is Halloween and it's Texans Jets.
Are we
Yes.
finally going to have a stream where I won't be away for Florida, Georgia? Because it's November, and we usually do our anniversary stream at the end of October.
We could do the stream. I guess that would be October 25th.
Finally! That's a Friday?
Yeah.
Y'all, this is my time to shine. Yes.
Yes.
We'll have to double check with the juice, but maybe you might have heard it here first, people. For all two of you watching right now.
Yeah, that's when the anniversary stream is going to be. Okay? Maybe. We'll see. We have to
Although,
double
by
check.
the way, William Harold, first week in our league,
In first
top
place.
overall scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing me. And I thought that was rude due to a fellow Lions fan, to be honest.
Fucking Jameson Williams, man. Like,
You had him in the lineup. It's insane. Like, had the obviously our league is deep, so you do tend to play, go further into your lineups than a lot of other leagues. But Jameson Williams went off.
It's true.
Yeah, like just naming your team Biting Kneecap, and you got. And with Deshaun Watson, yeah, he got number 1 in the league in a super flex league with starting quarterback Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I am just.
And isn't Juice in second or third?
He's
I
second.
don't know how Juice
I
always
was up against Juice.
No,
I was
this
up
is
against
the
Juice.
thing. In a different league that he's in our group chat messaging us about picks. And I was like, bitch, why are you acting like you didn't win a fantasy football league last year? Don't be asking us for advice. You're a winner.
Yes, Juice is indeed in second place. So, yeah, I mean, granted, it's week 1 and the 1 through 7 all have the same record. So it's, semantics at this point. But Juice did score the second most points in the league. So, yeah.
I'm making money in 30% of the leagues I drafted week 1.
Wow.
I have one of the worst teams in our goddamn league.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah,
in our other league, where I auto-drafted half of it because I was at work, I literally ignored customers, Bethany, to make your draft picks for you.
He did. And that was really
I
nice.
did. We got a 1-star review on Google reviews because I did this.
The manager
This
was
is-
drafting a fantasy football.
This is a thing. But in that league where I auto-drafted basically the first half of the rest of my team, I undoubtedly have one of the best fantasy football teams I've ever fucking drafted.
Yeah.
Like, it's elite. It's beyond, like...
I feel like my teams aren't bad. I feel like we had a rough week 1. I feel like there are certain people that I had low expectations for, so I sat them on my bench. And maybe I need to put them in the starting lineup next week. I feel like we're going to rebound. I gave him a talk. I think a fun penalty for last place, because we always joke around that we should do one and then we never do anything. But I think for real, fun penalty for last place would be having someone do like a press conference, like you're like a coach. Like I would so be into it. They're like,
Oh, man.
well, guys, I told them.
We put them on
And-
screen, and then everybody else in the league gets to pop on and ask
Yeah,
them
and like
questions.
ask some questions. Like I want to do a full bit. I think it'd be fun.
Okay.
I think that's a fun penalty.
So is the press conference punishment? Everybody else gets to role play players on your team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Ramada. I think that would be fun, William, but I think the more reasonable one that we could actually do, because like the other day I had a rough start and I was like, you know what? I know we're a better team than this, whatever. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I could do a full-on press conference right now, truly. Like, get me a bottle of water, get me a microphone, and I could do it. And then I was like, that would be a funny punishment. I think we should have whoever has, a terrible losing season do that, and then be like, next year we're looking at the draft and we're thinking about I want you to do the full coach bit, like where, yeah, and then we could be the press corps, the rest of us asking the questions and all that jazz. I want someone basically to shake a table like Brian Kelly did in his press conference. I want you to break that mother effing table. You're so mad at your team. Okay.
So I got the new Madden yesterday.
Yeah.
And when you go into franchise mode, like I did a Lions franchise mode, and all of a sudden I'm in a role-playing game where like the main character is Dan Campbell.
I love that, honestly. I'm so into that.
It's kind of amazing, except for like there's a thing where like they have you set your goals for your team, and like I answered the questions truthfully, and they're like interviewer asks you like what the weak point of your team is, offense or defense. I'm like defense, and then they're like run or pass. Like run. It's that's the Lions' biggest weakness is run defense. And now I have goals about my run defense that I have to accomplish. And like I have performance anxiety and I don't want to play franchise anymore. Like
You're like, I don't want to. I can't live up to that pressure.
I don't want to be Dan Campbell. Have to deal with like my run defense.
Yeah.
I have enough to deal with at work.
Circling
What
back to
going on?
fantasy football, I mentioned this in my league with my buddies at home. I got kind of like in the middle of the draft. I said, fuck you to everybody, and drafted all like 3 of the top 5 tight ends. I have now traded one of them for Garrett Wilson. So that strategy.
See?
You traded one of them for Garrett. Which one did you trade?
Kelsey.
Oh, god damn.
Yep.
You won in that.
Yeah. I still have Kincaid and McBride.
What?
Yep.
Okay, I will travel down to be part of this league if somebody drops out.
We've had
Somebody
this
drops
league
out.
for-
I'm there.
I think it's 18th season we're doing this league.
Anybody ever like says I can't do it this year?
He's in. That's what he wants it to be now. Okay. He is in.
I just salivated.
So now I had Puka as my keeper in that league. Obviously, he's down, but I have Mike Evans, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, and Puka as my wide receivers. Yeah.
And I was so happy that in the league where my team is trash, I got both Kobe Parkinson and Alan Lazard. Damn.
Yep. So, yeah, that's a lot of fun, but it's gonna be interesting to see how things go forward. I think Yahoo still says that Chance is projected to win.
I love that Yahoo said I picked too many Eagles players because we had traded picks. And I was like, bitch, you thought I picked too many Detroit Lions players.
Yahoo got mad at me for drafting 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think Yahoo would have been happier with me, like, if I just kept my draft before trading shit to you. But then I had AJ Brown week 1.
Yeah.
And you had Amon-Ra St. Brown week 1.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, I did.
That worked out for you.
It did work out for you. But you know
One
what?
time.
Week one is just week 1, and we're gonna rebound. We're gonna bounce back.
Yeah, you don't overreact. To
This
week 1.
is gonna be. It's gonna be fun. He's gonna do great. I don't know why he wasn't getting targeted, but
You don't
That was
overreact to week 1, but Alan Lazard is definitely going to have 34 touchdown catches this year.
I think Alan Lazard is going to be a key factor being a Jets fan until Mike Williams is deemed fully healthy. I don't trust Alan Lazard,
Until Mike Williams is healthy.
which is an oxymoron.
I think this is fair. To be honest, that's a good.
Are you waiting on Mike? Are you waiting on Michael Thomas too?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Being realistic. Oh, well, wow, Public Enemy is on stage now.
Oh, okay.
That was LL Cool J and now Public Enemy.
What?
Now I understand this.
You're like,
you have my attention now.
VMAs, you have my attention. Truly, how Flavor Flav and
Chuck D.
no, I was gonna say Snoop Dogg. I know he's not part of Public Enemy, but I love how Flavor Flav and Snoop Dogg have just become America's like dad / uncle / whatever,
Yo.
like America's sweethearts this summer.
Flava Flav just like he made me cry during the Olympics with his shit.
I know he's a sweet. He's just like a sweet, supportive, like father figure.
Yeah.
Like, they really.
Brigitte Nielsen, you done fucked up.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. you're a jabroni.